So I studied electronic engineering and then worked in the telecoms space. After that, I worked in the aerospace sector in aviation and then worked with satellite communications. So Luvhone engineering encompasses three areas of the business: is telecommunications, aerospace, satellite communications, which was the backbone of my career. I've been in the industry for more than 20 years. The problem is two parts. There is the pipeline, creating the pipeline, and also maintaining the pipeline, in the sense that to create the pipeline, we need to encourage young women at a very early age, elementary school, high school also as well, because if we catch them at that point, we are then able to create visibility about the engineering profession. And also the engineering profession is not the most glamorous profession, because sometimes you work in the field. So we have to encourage young women to really see the industry as an impactful industry. So if we attract younger women from elementary, high school to study at university, that encourages participation in mathematics and science as well. And then in the professional area, on the second part of their life, is to encourage a work environment that keeps the women who enter the engineering field. I think the biggest challenge for most women is as soon as they reach a family planning stage, then they find that the environment doesn't create a stimulative environment for them to stay. So we've seen with COVID, working from home is possible. So one of the things we can do is to encourage women to also work from home, create an environment where they can balance their lifestyle as well as their work careers. We've seen that women at the executive level, they enter the executive level, but then they leave because the environment is not conducive for them to stay. So women are much more collaborative. And I think that's key in the world that we live in, because most of the work we do, especially in the space sector, you find that you have to collaborate with international partners, which means you have to be adaptable. I think women are really adaptable. And they can also enable a company to grow much faster because they are more results oriented and at the same time looking after people. They care more about people. Well, I can give you an example about my own upbringing. I grew up in a family of women and I grew up in a rural area. And in most rural areas, you find that women are the ones who are really active. They go to the farm the land. They are the ones who look after the children. They are the ones who also make sure that the community is stable and the community is integrated. So taking that back into the modern society, I think women are the backbone because they are the ones who really have a hunger to make things happen together while at the same time accommodating men. I remember when I was still at school, we used to have a proverb that used to say, the hand that rocks the cradle must rule the world. All that means is that a woman, because most of the time they're the ones who bring a child to life, they bring many things to life. Why shouldn't they rule the world? The power of any entrepreneur is the freedom to make the decision in the right direction for that company. So to empower women is not only to give them a position, put them into the business that they are in, but freedom to make the decisions about the future of that company is really essential. That talks to economic freedom. It talks also to business making freedom. So I think that's the way we can empower women. Of course, along the way, you make mistakes and you also succeed as well. You win some, you lose some. And we must be at least a bit more compassionate to women as well. Because I find that if a man makes a mistake, it's more forgivable than when a woman makes a mistake. So I really think we can empower women by giving them the space to make the mistakes and make the successes. I think a little bit of courage. I mean, of course, there are systematic issues that limit women, but also in ourselves, we are capable of delivering. Sometimes we're not courageous enough to blow the trumpet that we can do it. And I think here women can really take a leap forward, taking more courage to talk about their achievements without feeling the guilt of being overly present. So I really think that will enable women to forge ahead and also be more kinder to themselves, to say, I can do this. Yes, I may not know how, but I will find out how to do it. And also to be complementary in terms of gender, both male and female gender. I don't think it's about isolating the one gender over the other, but to complement the genders to make society a better place. Well, it starts with policy as well. So in South Africa, we have a policy that is very particular when it comes to promoting women-owned businesses. So in some instances, some projects, you cannot participate if you don't have 51% representative ownership. For example, a woman-owned shareholder or director. So I think those policies, as challenging as they may be initially, because there is no pipeline, it also forces people to start to think, awareness, and say, okay, how do we then work with this process? So I think that has helped from a policy perspective. Secondly, monitoring. You can have a policy, but monitoring of implementation is key. So our government has to report in Parliament what is the progress with empowerment of women, what are the challenges, how do we fix some of those challenges. So that's how our ministry has really supported us. I think resilience. Africa is very resilient. There are some good things happening in Africa. And also, at the same time, where there are challenges, we are finding solutions for those challenges. So I think from a resilience point of view, there are many areas where we can innovate together through research and development. And also, at the same time, looking at the population of Africa. There's a big, significant amount of young people in Europe. We have an aging society. So I really see an opportunity for cross-pollination of expertise. It can also assist in terms of Europe helping the pension fund to generate enough revenue for the aging population, while at the same time it's helping Africa solve its unemployment issues. And now after COVID, we've seen mobility of people who can do work from many areas. So I really see an opportunity for Africa and Europe to cooperate on expertise. It doesn't necessarily mean that you have to bring people here, but you can do work collaboratively using the technology that we have.